he has probably been... I would be on board with calling him the most impressive player in the team overall,
right?
If I had to pick some. And also, especially considering that from a viewer perspective, he might have been one of the the least known player in the team when he came in there and has really made a name for himself. So I could see why where Double A is coming from with that. That was a nice interview.
I think so too.
I think that was it seemed very down to earth and very realistic about the whole thing. All right, we know we're not doing so well. We have an idea of what the problem is. These are the steps we're taking to improve and solve the problem. So yeah, this has me a little bit more hopeful about Nouns, because I'll be the first to admit that I've been pretty disappointed in their performance so far. I feel like yesterday when they were about to play Alliance, we were talking about it, and you still had higher hopes for Nouns than I did. I was expecting Alliance to win that series. They beat them 2-0. Double A was talking about that one as well. So, but let's see today. It's a new day, like you said. They've got the chance to make some adjustments, and honestly, I think their draft looks very good this game.
There's one other thing that we have to point out, which, by the way, I'm going to be asking... Ooh, very low there, Supreme. I'm going to be asking something of our observers. If you can just go to the chat log and look up a tiny little bit, you can see Lelis doing the region's call. Yeehaw! They're ready. They're fired up for this game. And, well, it's all going to happen here. NA Dota's back, baby.
This takes me back to a specific content piece with EG NA Team.
Oh,
if
yeah.
you remember that one. Yeah. Those were the days, huh?
Fly as Captain America, you never forget.
Yeah. Oh, that was a good one. So, all right, let's talk a little bit about the picks here. So it sounded like the panel was mainly on board with Nouns, and my main concern with MOUZ, if you want to take the negative angle at first, is they have extremely minimal catch.
Right.
The only catch they have is Bushwhack, which I feel like should never be considered a reliable way of setting up a fight. It's like a nice little luxury and a good follow-up, but you don't have any single target stuns, you don't have any arenas of any kind or whatever. So you're very much relying on either getting a good Pango roll going that starts setting up a chain stun, or, like I said, landing that Bushwhack. On the other side, Clockwork can start fights very easily, so can the Storm Spirit. You have amazing follow-through with the Willow, who can also set things up on her own. So I think in terms of ease of execution, I like Nouns' pathway to fights a little bit better. The other issue, potentially for MOUZ, which hasn't necessarily been that big of a deal this tournament, their lineup looks kind of greedy.
Yeah.
Medusa plus Doom.
That's a lot.
Is hit creeps for a while mode, most likely. Especially when you don't have those heroes complementing to set things up. So we'll see. I think if MOUZ get out of the lanes quite well and get the game slowed down, they could be in a good spot, but they got to be careful not to get run over.
Absolutely. And there's a couple of heroes on the lineup of Nouns that really love to sort of play that high-octane tempo strategy. Did he cut the tree as he was getting tied to it? Oh, I think
Yuma cut it for him. Yuma has the Quelling Blade.
And they keep a little bit of extra distance. Fly still taking some more hits. Is he going to be first blood, or does he get Cogs back up in time?
There's a man going Narman.
Oh, gotta run. And no, it is going to be first blood drawn by Narman. Well played indeed. You know, one other thing I do want to mention about the catch, though, that I'm kind of curious to see how it works is I kind of feel like this new Pango roll facet that people are going, the Thunderbolt, might be better at catching Storm than, I would have thought originally before I started to see it. It seems really crazy how quickly you can chase somebody down.
Yeah, it's always going to be a matter of getting the first connection, right?
Right.
That's the thing is... Thunderbolt, it is faster, and it is in some places easier to get the chain bounces, but you still need to find Storm in the first place.
Okay.
And that's where if you had some sort of support that could do the first little stun that you can then chain on, I would be way more on board with that idea. But yeah, I have a little bit of a harder time seeing that coming to fruition. But at least so far for MOUZ, so good. They get the first blood in that top lane against Clock Luna, which is, in this patch, has looked like a very, very strong lane. So I think they're on off to a decent start here. In the bot lane as well. Medusa effectively having an equally good game as that of the Luna.
Already has that Null Talisman done, and in the meantime, you know that Gunnar on this Bristleback is just going to be trying to go mass stats when he's capable of doing it. does have that snot rocket, as you can see, which I feel like has definitely started to become more popular lately. And it feels like somewhat strange, but already, if you think about it, like a Medusa, you know, already a slow hero. Doom can sometimes be as well if you're not rolling on Pango. Like, I feel like being able to sort of sludge these guys up, it could be potentially nice later on.
And it's also the minus armor. If you're playing with certain heroes in your lineup that take advantage of that, such as the Luna, it can be really powerful. Force, big trouble here.
Is it going to be enough for a finish? Nah, not quite.
The boots advantage there. Both of MOUZ's heroes in the off lane wisely opting for boots quickly against the clockwork lane. And Fly, not rich enough just yet to get his own. He's, in fact, very poor. The poorest hero on the map by 300.
Right. Well, we'll keep our eyes on that one and see what ends up happening. I will say I'm very disappointed that Force did not pick Darkseer, one of the few heroes or players that loves to get it constantly. But for now, we're gonna make do with just the Doom getting played in this one. And this should be an easy D-ward. Bengen, Supreme, spotted Lilith doing that, who is doing a really good job of getting these stacks up. That's the 6-minute mark comes up. It's going to be an Arcane Rune top, but a nice little treasure trove of creeps to turn back to for Storm or the Bristle, honestly.
And speaking of Doom, I wonder why MOUZ rated this as the overall first pick of the draft. This is not something we've seen many other teams do. They picked it specifically into Bristle, who I would say historically isn't necessarily a hard counter, or Doom isn't necessarily a hard counter to that hero. It can be good, but Bristle is one of the heroes that can survive getting doomed and just run off and still get something out of the Bristleback ability. Oh, decent connection here onto Yuma, some good damage.
Moves in, there's a Cogs pushback, and now gonna even glyph the wave, see if they can chase him down. And the zip comes in, Copy trying to protect his carry. This might be Force having overextended, although the turnaround damage is pretty intense. And they're going to be forced back yet again as Supreme makes the move all the way up top, and Yuma, he's going to have to retreat and get out of here. So they bring 4 heroes top and won't be able to get a kill, but we'll get some pressure onto that tower.
Narman's playing a really good game so far on the Hoodwink. I feel like he's been landing absolutely everything, and it's a really big part of why things are looking quite good for MOUZ right now, in that top lane in particular. Starting to pull ahead. I don't know, I click on this Doom and I look at it, I'm like, this cosmetic should not exist. Why? Look at his face. It's like a unit from Heroes 3.
Sorry,
amazing game, by the way.
I'm looking at Supreme dying at the moment, but yeah, it does.
Yeah, but Heroes of Might and Magic 3, though.
Okay, right? I see. I hear you. Feel me? He looks like, yeah, it's a little, we're just right in his boobies right there. It is a strange one.
It reminds me of Inferno.
Okay.
All right, there's going to be... I was going to say there's going to be very few of the viewers that get that reference, but then I remembered actually a lot of our viewers would have played that game.
Yeah.
Because this is Dota, so our viewers are old enough to enjoy the good old classics.
I mean, but they were all playing Dota, so they didn't have time for anything
not when
else.
Heroes 3 came out. Dota wasn't even a thing.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, it's an old game. I think it's from... Is it 99 or something? I don't know. You know what? I'm going to look it up just for you, okay?
Thank you. I really appreciate that. The high-level commentary that we're looking for is Copy cannot get his zip off the full chain stun. Maybe Pango is an answer to this storm.
Saying. All right.
Interesting. I mean, I guess the thing about that, too, that's, like, pretty annoying is that you can't even, like, normally you'd be able to, like, raindrop or something, but it's all physical damage.
Yeah, and that was the exact combination that you're looking for, right? You need the Hoodwink to set this up, and it's never going to be easy, especially later in the game, but that time around, they nail it. So very nicely done by MOUZ.
Wow.
In case you were wondering, it did come out in 1999.
I was wondering.
February 28th.
Very good.
Remember the day. It was a day of greatness.
I was 9 years old, I'm pretty sure.
That is untrue.
No, it's true.
I'm older than you?
Yeah. You sound so shocked.
This isn't right. How old are you?
I have the same birthday as Taylor Swift, December 13th, 1989. Into this game, there's a lot of stacks here coming out from Nouns. And apparently my math is wrong.
I was born in December 1989.
Hey, that's what I said.
Wait, which date did you say?
The 13th.
The 13th. I'm 24th, so you're 11 days older.
Okay, got it.
Okay. 2K lead for MOUZ.
And they're going to try and run forward here, see if they can find a pickoff maybe, or just secure this rune. 10-minute mark, but they get unlucky. It's down bottom, shield rune for copy. At least at this early going, very, very even. Less than 400 gold separating all of the cores in this game. Nothing really is broken out as of yet.
It's still, I think so far so good is the perfect way of thinking about this for MOUZ, though.
Yeah.
They are the ones who have a very slow and greedy lineup with Medusa, Doom, plus Phoenix. So if the laning stage in the early game in general is following this trajectory and Nouns don't really find too many plays, they're effectively getting their entire lineup online for when things could get scary. I think this is already very, very good. If they can keep it up, it doesn't feel like time is ticking for them, right?
No.
I think despite this being an extremely good Storm game on paper, if your heroes get farmed enough on the Radiant side, this is the kind of game where it can be difficult for Storm to pop off, simply by virtue of them being too tanky.
Right.
Doom is a tough target. Medusa is going to be a really tough target. Pango, we've seen, be extremely elusive. So you combine that with a high-level Sunray eventually coming out from Bangan. It's definitely everything coming up MOUZ right now. Top 3 net worths.
He's going to get it eventually. Don't worry. It's fine. Yeah, as they do come and take this hard camp, a big old stack now onto the Ancients as well. Does not look like there's going to be any contention coming out, but meanwhile, Yuma just shows up. They still have Doom. Yeah, he can just turn. Oh, that would have been enough.
That's an important miss, but
Wait, no,
he walks in.
He walked back into it.
All right, he'll still live.
Narman pulled. Couple more hits is all they need. And, well, with the Cogs connection, Narman does eventually go down.
If everything went right for MOUZ there, they might have killed both heroes and lived.
Yeah.
But at the very least, for now, Yuma does survive with the miss on that sharpshooter.
Well, as much as you're talking about so far so good for MOUZ, to me it also doesn't feel like Nouns are particularly unhappy. It's just like they haven't hit the timing where they want to try and make that group up and push play. Or is there? Do you think they need to get more done? Yeah,
their lineup isn't really tailored to play super fast either. It's just you would have liked for their side for the lanes to go better than this, right?
Okay.
I think in particular the fact that the Luna Clockwork lane lost to the Doom Hoodwink by this amount is an unexpected result as far as I'm concerned. And it does set the... Like, that's just... Doom is such a specific hero in that sense that if he does very well in a lane that he's maybe supposed to lose in, it amplifies so quickly.
Hook shot to get away, Thunderbolt in, Gunner does
that
not
one's unforgivable. He's genuinely... that's a good foghorn right there. Or that's not what it's called, but anyway.
The foghorn, leghorn, not getting what he wanted. Yeah, that was a rough one. Still, they keep their tower alive on the side Nouns, and now going to try and smoke up. That might have been underneath that ward, though. I'm pretty sure that was scouted.
I'm starting to think maybe Narman should not have skilled ult.
Okay.
Because he's hitting every other spell perfectly.
Yes.
But the sharpshooter, 0 for 2.
It's the devil's bargain, you know?
It's okay.
You have to go in and, you know, miss everything else. That way you can hit the ones that matter. They're still looking up top. Want to get this kill right now onto the Pango. And Supreme shows.
He has illusion.
Lellis onto him, immediately taken off, but
he's cooked.
No way he gets out of that one.
Too much damage. Force is too late, and he also doesn't have Doom yet.
Yeah, 10 seconds might have been nice, but can't get it in time.
That's definitely something Copy has to watch out for in the coming, like, 10 to 15 minutes of this game is... If he is to jump in on anyone, if Doom is farmed enough to get a Blink Dagger after the Shiva's Guard, which I'm assuming will be Force's next item, you have to always be on your toes. If you get Doomed on Storm this game, you're dead. There's no save, there's no repositioning tool from your allies.
Right.
So, have to be very, very cautious with that, but... Yeah, it's very... I have to say, it's quite the contrast between this series and the one we just watched, where it was just relentless, non-stop aggression from both teams. Arguably, one team in the previous series fought a lot more than they should have and could have maybe taken a picture out of these two teams' book, but this is a lot slower. 6 kills at 14 minutes. Feels like last series we had 6 kills at 3 minutes.
I think that is what ended up happening, if I'm not mistaken.
But it's largely the nature of the lineups. I think this is a very expected scoreline in terms of kills, but just the raw farm and the lane advantage definitely going a bit more MOUZ's way than I would have thought. So looking very healthy.
Are they going to try and fight this? I mean, Nouns, they lost their triangle, so Luna doesn't really have an easy place to farm, and they're obviously going to keep this pressure on.
I actually really like this play call too, because you recognize if you look at Nouns' lineup, they don't have single target damage.
Right.
So the Medusa is an extremely difficult target. You're going to have to fight through level 4 Fire Spirits. You're going to have to fight through the Sun, or excuse me, not the Sun Ray, the Supernova. Sun Ray will be coming up next, of course, for Bengen. So they just recognize we are too strong, and they take all the tier 1s. Now, Olnit. Oh, will he get off the Stone Gaze? He will.
Yes. Copy with that amplified damage will force him back, slow down his farming a little bit, and then just retreat. I don't think he ever thought that was going to be a full kill, but at least bait some abilities out of him as the Manta is completed. Meanwhile, Doom used on Gunner. He seems perfectly fine. Snot rocketing, running around.
I don't know about perfectly fine.
I mean, it's a lot of damage, and well, yep, he's not perfectly fine.
I will give you this, though. He did seem perfectly fine, but then they connected.
Yes, then
and then he seemed less fine.
I think actually the Snot rocket killed him there.
He's going to have to Supernova really quickly here.
And it's not going to happen.
Oh, might have had an opportunity, actually.
I mean,
but no allies around, so it would have died anyway. Even if he got Fire Spirits on both heroes, I think they would have just killed it off. And that's going to be a tower trade now. Right. The Golden Boy gets the kill on the tower.
I mean, one thing that I think is... Well, I mean, hold on. Force might be in some further trouble here. The two supports combining together to take down the offlaner. Nice connection there.
Yeah, a couple of successful moves back-to-back here for Nouns. Waking up a little bit, using their levels.
In the meantime,
looks like MOUZ want revenge
to farm.
They see Yuma farming top. They're expecting a specific farming pattern. Well, he'll run north and then probably east. And if they connect here, this should be super easy. They have the Rod of Atos on Narman, so extra catch, and with the Pango Diffusal. Yep, Yuma is very dead here.
Yuma cuts the tree, gets him away for a moment. Supreme trying to go for the ulti. In trouble, pulled back in. No, they can't get him. Oh, Yuma with the tree cut. That kept him alive. If Narman had just placed his bushwhack a little to the side, he would have survived.
All right, I'll put an asterisk on that play and say I thought Pango had ult.
Wow.
But he did not. So this backfires very badly, and Gunner is going to solo Force, too.
Yeah.
Oh, dear. What should have been a guaranteed Luna kill ends up failing because they were just 5 seconds short on that Rolling Thunder cooldown. And it begs the question, was that even a play then to begin with? Right. When you didn't have that, should you have brought a third hero in the smoke? Should you even have gone for the play without that key ulti? That counterplay from Nouns is big, and they're suddenly, this game is blown wide open. They take another tower, they get more kills. And a lot of MOUZ's lead just straight down the drain from a couple of failed moves.
I think one of the things there, too, is if you remember, Luna ran down to get back to base. If she had gone up to that camp, she would have been dead.
Yeah, so she would have been in a much more compromised position. And also, they would have connected on her later.
Exactly.
And therefore, Pango would have been ready. That's very true. Another pick. They find Supreme. All right, and this is where MOUZ's lineup now. They had a good start. Now they've run out of steam a little bit. Nouns can play with so much momentum now. They get a couple of key kills, they get some good levels, and a couple of items coming their way. Olnit actually got a force to ult here.
They're still sticking around. Stone Gaze does go off. Copy feeling confident in himself to not get caught here. But if they realize, okay, yeah, they're backing away.
He had a regen rune running, so he was happy to just trade with Dusa the whole way through and just get that free trade of resources, essentially. Okay, MOUZ. Big damage onto Fly, but can they connect the Atos? Yes.
They've got him there, and will bring down the Clockwork, but in the jungle, they find
they got a Doom on the Storm.
Is this going to be enough for the kill? Yes, definitely. So, well, he has barriers. Does not matter. Doesn't matter even a little bit, I don't think. So they take him down. Lelis also going to fall. 3 dead on the side of Nouns. They really need that Clockwork to be with them, I feel like, to make the fights happen as Yuma pressures bottom, but eventually gonna retreat back to keep farming.
And things are back to even again. very unpredictable right now how these things are going to go. And this is what I was talking about before. Storm has to be on his toes when he's fighting the Doom. Allowing himself to get doomed there is just a death sentence immediately. He's not nearly tanky enough to sustain through it. They don't have any defensive items to protect him with the exception of Clockwork's Force Staff. But as you pointed out, he wasn't there. And the Solar Crest, I mean, he did his best on the Willow, but if you have like a Glimmer Cape there or a Force, maybe you can keep him up. Solar is not enough. Especially in that type of little corner where Pango was just chaining him the whole time.
Right.
Which seems like it's 2/3 of the map nowadays with this facet, but, you know.
True enough. I will also say now he has Blink Dagger on Pango, so it makes that first setup that much easier.
Yeah.
But Clockwork can still be that interrupting hero. You know, Cogs make things weird for the Pango. As Copy is farming up here, the bigger play is down bottom. Nouns move into the Roche pit. Now this was scanned almost immediately. Can they get there in time? Doom not available for another 50 seconds.
They do have both Stone Gaze and Supernova, though. It's a nasty combo if you get things layered together. You can't hit that egg with Medusa under it, but they will be too late. Nouns, nice play call. They're going to get this Aegis for Copy scot-free. They have enough time to get out, I think. Well, maybe not if MOUZ actually fancy their chances here, but looks like they will disengage as well. The play call here.
He runs into all of them, turns his back, forwards right there, and jump for the backline, gets Narman. He's very low, though, and Gunnar gets low but not dead. The Terrorize keeps him alive. They jump away. Supernova expended. Now hook shot available. Copy low on mana, but does still have that Aegis. Tries to zip away. He's not going anywhere. The rest of the team ready to help out. Yuma hunting, hook shot connects onto the Phoenix, and now they gotta run, but I don't think Copy's gonna let him get away. Now they do have Doom back up if he wants to turn and drop it down immediately, but now they're committed to the fight. Force is out, they're keeping him away. The Force Staff trying to keep the Storm alive, and all that, they go all the way in. Storm low, and Storm going to die. But they get some retribution kills here.
Big.
Completely out of mana. A couple more hits is all they need, and well, Yuma's going to be able to get it.
If he doesn't get off this snake, this is a much better fight for Nouns. It is, in the end, going to be pretty much a draw, but without that final snake, I think they also get Lelis out of there. Man, what a fight. That was an Aegis advantage for Nouns, and they still ended up losing their Storm twice with the Doom. Feel like you can't truly be happy with that, all things considered, on Nouns' side with how that started. You kind of can't help but think that should have been a better ultimate result. But at the very least for them, they didn't really lose anything, but nothing to gain either.
Right. I mean, Copy, you know, still had half of his mana pool just about to play around with when he ended up getting doomed and eventually brought down. So it's a little bit tough there, that one.
I just think he's standing still for too long.
Yeah.
Especially, like we talked about, the only catches that you're worried about are Bushwhack and Doom. So, well, Bushwhack and I suppose the Atos. But if you're really on your toes and you keep jumping and staying mobile, you're doing less DPS if you're very mobile in the fights. But avoiding getting doomed has to be #1 priority. Force is going to take that choice every single time. If he can choose the entirety of this game who to doom, he will doom Storm until the game ends. So make it harder for him to choose.
Right now, going BKB as they hook shot in, and we'll find the Phoenix. I mean, this is the nice part at the very least of having that Doom expended, is now they can play really aggressively. 20 seconds until it's back up means a free shard as they take the Tormentor. There are silver linings to this, but like you said, it does feel like Nouns need to be playing from ahead at this point, because as Medusa and Doom get more and more items, it becomes a larger and larger problem, particularly if you can get towards like a refresher or something. It's going to be a huge issue.
Yeah, I mean, a decked out Doom in this game is always going to be a problem, but Nouns are, with these couple of successful moves, starting to get some really meaningful stuff going their way. So now finally the BKB on Storm means that now it's literally only Doom that's a problem.
Yeah.
He can ignore everything else as long as he's BKB'd in the fights. Luna is closing in on a Hurricane Pike as well, which is going to give her a lot more freedom playing against the Medusa. You just pike away when she ults and you reset the fight.
Oh. The other thing that they
could do,
they have a shield rune bottled, so can potentially bait that one out. Oh, we'll see. They jump in.
Oh, they get him!
He's got the shield rune, though. He's going to stay alive through this one, I think. They try and back away. The Supernova is already down. BKB out. He's surviving. If they can stay alive through the full round, maybe they can reinitiate. The hook shot goes in. Fly trying to fight this one now, and they have the huge Eclipse out. Copy goes back in for the initiation, trying to take down Bacon, and they will get him. Human now hits, pull back on to that Medusa. Olnit pops the Stone Gaze, but Force, he is going to fall. They lose Copy in the end, and now a buyback from the Phoenix. Yuma's just going to try and TP out of there, and will it see? Yes! 27 HP, still dying to the Spirit Vessel. Wow.
All right, without that TP out, that is a disaster for Nouns. But now they somewhat stay afloat. They still lose that fight by a significant amount, but the buyback from the Phoenix is at least something. And again, they're just really on top of Copy. I think that initiation, they get the Blink Doom onto him. He gets saved out by the forced FBKB Shield Rune, but ultimately, his inability to fight for so long just cost them their Bristleback. Fly tries to with a Clockwork. He becomes collateral damage. And ultimately, when Storm rejoins the fight, he's half health, half mana, runs out of juice, and Pango just runs him down. So really, not the best fight from Nouns once again. And that was 2 BKBs expended, the Storm and the Luna. So these BKB charges are going to start mattering more and more over time, of course. On the side of MOUZ, you're only looking at cooldowns. There's no BKBs at all on their team, as a matter of fact. Doom will be the first one to buy one in about 2,000 gold.
Well, Force does look to be caught out here now. They drop every damn thing to take him out of there. And now going to pressure this tier 2 tower with the one creep alive. Does die now, but there's another wave coming in.
Yeah, they immediately take advantage of these big cooldowns, right? No Supernova, no Doom. We can jump on anything we want. I'll Fly with the... Alright, not going to find him. He was almost jetpacking towards Supreme, but ended up turning off to the right. So didn't find him just then, but still. They're getting more and more of a foothold here. This is starting to look... It's kind of weird, because it doesn't really feel like Nouns are winning the fights. It doesn't feel like a 7k lead, but they are getting a bit more out of the map overall, so step by step, finding more and more net worth advantage.
Double Tormentor helps too.
Oh, for sure. That's a very big part of it, of course. The fact that they were able to steal that one. Everybody in their team already has a shard with the exception of Luna.
Oh, wow.
So... yeah, I believe Copy bought his own. We've seen this as well from Malrine earlier on in this tournament. He was buying it very early on Storm. Just going Kaya into that shard for the burst damage for yourself and your team and ganks.
And at this point now for MOUZ, does sort of beg the question of, are they going to try and get aggressive with Doom up? Again,
looks like yes.
Seems like it. And who do they find? Lelis.
Lelis is going to break it.
Yeah, they see people immediately. They jump in, find Gunner. Force, not sure if he wants to use Doom here. They get the stun out. They'll still do good damage and bring down Lelis. So they lose one. Gunner's still standing very far forward.
Yeah, very good call there from Force to not Doom the Bristle. I think it's just not worth it.
Yeah.
He's way too difficult to kill. He still has all his stuff, and you want to reserve it for the Storm counterplay. I think Force's mindset in this game right now is, I will only use Doom on Storm unless I absolutely have to Doom somebody else. It's a very clear-cut plan that MOUZ are showing. And I wonder, itemization-wise, so we've talked about their issues with catching. It seems like they're step-by-step going to solve that problem more and more with itemization. So the first step was getting the Hoodwink Atos. Now, Pango's starting to build a Basher, so that's going to be more lockdown their way. And Medusa will go for, by the looks of it, a Silver Edge. So the break on the Pango, or excuse me, the break on the Bristle, but also just a way of getting into the fight and setting stuff up. As we see a nice kill from Nouns here onto Supreme. Was not expecting that one. Long distance jump from Copy plus Yuma. Quick and easy burst. With that Eclipse expended as well. Well worth.
These heroes very integral to the team fight. We'll see what Nouns opt to do. There's some pings saying, hey, maybe we could go high ground here. I'm not sure if this is going to be what they actually go for, or, I mean, with Roche back up again, it would be lovely just to be able to go back and get that as a really quick respawn. They're going to check it right now, and I think the flare will expire. It's back up now.
Yeah, this is awkward, though, because the timing when they go there, he will be going south, so
right.
You kind of have to wait for the 30-minute mark, and that means Pango will be alive, and MOUZ will have positional advantage from it being on the Radiant side. So MOUZ will already start pushing out bottom and heading over there. They know this is the next objective and the main one of the game.
A smoke up, though. Maybe they could take a fight before the Pango gets here. This would be a pretty cool move from them. And you can see Bristle trailing on the mini-map. They spotted for a second that Doom. Doom showing in the mid lane.
Yeah, they might just want to flat out jump him here.
Oh, if he stepped one little pixel out further, I feel like they might have gone for that.
The one hero they want there to jump him with wasn't in range. Copy was way out to the right, so we'll get away unscathed. But this is still, if this fight were to bring out, Doom has to TP in. The connection point's obviously, okay, he's coming already.
And now they smoke.
Yeah.
Need to reset. There's an amp damage down on the bottom rune spot.
Oh, that would be big if they find it. They do. Yuma knows that it's there. He'll show up to the fight with a lot more in the tank now. Also just finished his Daedalus, so he packs a serious punch now.
Ready to get together. They're going to try and smoke up. Daedalus, Yuma with the DD. How good can this be? They also just now get a Lotus onto the Bristle, so another avenue to keep him alive. Fly, break smoke. Supreme is there. They scan, they see it. He can go for the hook shot if he wants. Not opting for that one as of yet. It's just going to come on by and take some flowers. Fine. A little gardening never hurt anybody. Olnit into the pit. They see him.
Okay. MOUZ want to force this to happen.
The amp damage.
Dusa is very strong. If Dusa gets jumped, the counterplay from MOUZ should be pretty straightforward.
Force up on the high ground, ready to jump. They see him instead. And now, finding and trying to kill this Doom. Can they bring him down in time? They don't get the pushback on the cogs, and they get the Doom onto the Luna. Now Copy, free to run around. Supreme stuck on the cliff. He's off to the side. They do eventually get Gunner. But as Doom wears off, your opportunity to take a fight, it's a little bit sketchy now. No roll, no Doom.
Well, you do have a 5-on-4, though, if you buy back your Doom.
Jumps in. Lincoln's pop. Supreme backs away. Good damage out to Terrorize. Yuma, he's right on top of him. They're tearing this Medusa apart. She's got no mana left. They throw out the Stone Gaze. They need to finish off this Roche, but Olnit, he's going to try and TP out of there. They're going to find these supports off in the back. Can't get the Phoenix, who's hiding off the map, but Narman will not be so lucky in terms of getting away. Nouns, they get the Roche.
Can't help but wonder if that was a team fight. Oh my god, Copy almost died to Roche. I can't help but wonder if that would have been a team. Oh!
What?
He died to the Roar.
The Roar? How much damage does the Roar do?
Enough?
I have never seen that before.
I have never seen that before either, but it's actually kind of important because it means the Aegis has to go on the Luna. I think they would have liked this one on the Storm maybe, but... Oh, not an option here.
How much was it?
227 damage there.
I didn't even know that did damage. What the hell?
Learn something new every day, don't we? It's an unexpected death.
That's crazy.
So what I was saying was, I can't help but wonder if that fight would have actually been a MOUZ win with a Doom buyback.
Right.
Sure, he doesn't have Doom, but he can still buyback come in with Scorched Earth, with a War Stomp, with the Shivas. Now, instead, he will have a completed BKB, so that was probably why it was a tough decision to make, but you end up giving over the Aegis to the other team this way, despite it going on the Luna. Now, Luna is not an appealing Doom target.
Yes.
So you kind of back to likely looking to Doom the Storm, but he has Lincoln, so you need to proc that. It's starting to get trickier and trickier for the side of MOUZ to access this, and Nouns, if they play good formation, if they play tight, they make sure Luna is the only viable target for MOUZ to really open the fight on, and they play with, you know, their Solar Crest, their Lotus, their Glimmer, their Force Staffs. They have so much to kite the Doom that if Yuma is the primary target, I feel like they can outlast it.
And you know the other thing, you mentioned this earlier, but like the lack of BKBs, you think about that moment when Clockwork blocks off the high ground push and then a Terrorize gets thrown out. There's just like nobody has a defense against that. Terrorize just owns this fight. It's a big problem for MOUZ. As next Tormentor is up. We'll see if they try and take this one away. But at this stage of the game...
They want to poke the bear here. Yuma's in on the high ground. Olnit is in Silver Edge right now.
Hits. Gorgon's grasp. Force staff. Backs away. Force. He wanted it. Not going to happen, though. The Glimmer keeps Yuma alive. So 13,000 gold lead now.
Another Tormentor. Nouns are thinking about it.
Yeah, go steal.
There's also a Wisdom Rune. And Fly will grab that. Almost level 18 now on the clock. Okay, Olnit's in there.
Somehow that missed. Did not. I thought that Bushwhack was going to connect, but
yeah, that
must have missed
a little bit strange that one didn't land.
That's a full Satanic. Oh my god.
Obviously, not going to do too much if he's doomed. So
True.
I think the priority has changed now, that you want to doom the Luna whenever Aegis is down. If Copy is clutch, he can save him with Lincolns, but unlikely to, you know, be necessarily in the perfect position to get it off just the right moment. And it gives MOUZ a very clear angle to attack the fight. But until that Aegis is down, I really feel like Nouns should press the issue a little bit here. Look to force a fight in the bottom lane, make it very uncomfortable. We saw them poking the Luna before with the Silver Edge hit plus the Hoodwink combo. But the fact of the matter is, if Luna can just turn around for just a moment, they have triple Force Staff. So they're going to get her out of there, no problem.
I mean, the Bushwhack does do weird things with your angle. A little unfortunate, that one.
Fly does not have the hookup facet, so this is going to take a while before it's ready again.
Some wards down, which you'll see any movement outside of the base. And Fly. Jetpacks around. They'll see those wards, take them away. It's Medusa that's out on the map on the other side, though, and running to her ward, but Yuma already pressuring up, like you said. There's only 45 seconds left. They did not opt to go for the pressure up high ground. A little bit too afraid of it. We'll see if that comes back to bite them or not.
Yeah, I feel like they're just not getting enough out of this Aegis. You could argue that they're still far ahead and everything is fine, but maybe a little bit of a missed opportunity there. Copy trying to bait some responses, but Supreme is staying very calm under the pressure. And now Nouns are regrouping once again in an aggressive position, but 15 seconds left on the Aegis only. Reckon MOUZ are going to do exactly this. You know the Aegis is about to run out, so this is a good moment of opportunity for them to try to get something done. They will go for a smoke play.
Gunner.
Scan from the Radiant, but it sees illusions only. So actually a little bit misleading there.
They see Storm mid, chasing him's a fool's errand. But they are still going to run out this direction. They're running to their ward, which I think did just spot Gunner. He is TPing out. There's an potentially, it's not going to happen.
Extremely aware of what's happening, and it's all because of their aggressive warding. Like, look at the vision they have.
Yeah.
They have a ward in the top lane, they have a ward around the mid lane, and they have a ward in the bottom lane. And MOUZ are showing on no creeps, so it's not exactly rocket science what they must be doing here.
Rocket science, I like that. Good job. Good clockwork. Copy comes on in, takes out the ward. 15.
Yuma 25.
What's that?
Yuma hits 25,
nice.
So Lucent Beam hits an additional target unlocked. I believe it's the only level 25 hero in the game. Medusa is 23.
Yeah.
So he's got a bit to go before he gets the split shot modifier.
Notably does not have the Conda, but still get the double glaives with the 20 talent, which is pretty nice.
That's a good point. I wonder, because you'd think against a hero like Medusa, it's really valuable to have the Conda since you don't necessarily want to take the head-on fight all the time where you're just standing your ground, but rather play on the ranged poke.
Right.
It seems like Yuma has a different idea. All right, he's going to walk straight in. I mean, now they're going for a bit of a high ground. They don't have Aegis, but Narman was not ready for that at all.
I mean, I guess if you catch him unprepared, it works pretty well.
Yeah.
It hits Silver Edge, Gorgon Grass. Not going to be able to do anything extra there. They take down Roche's banner, but Yuma with a solar crest, keeping him very, very tanky, and Copy not afraid even a little bit. They spot him, they get Olnit. Good damage out. Now the Thunderbolt rolling. Supreme wants to chase down for more, seeing if they can find him. Gunner.
Oh, this is not well executed.
Yeah, this is not what they were hoping for.
This is really not great from MOUZ. That's just so much down the drain. No roll, no supernova, and they didn't connect with the Doom. They didn't connect. I mean, was that really necessary anyway? You have backdoor protection kicking in. Your Hoodwink is spawning in 10 seconds.
I don't think Medusa was going to die, but maybe she would have. I don't know.
I think the roll was enough. That was already dissuading them from pursuing further, but I think they got a little bit stressed out there.
Right.
And it all, again, it comes back to the problem that, well, when Hoodwink is dead, you can't keep the enemy team in place.
Yes.
So they just force staff away their heroes and they're fine.
Smoke up now. Doom is ready, but we have the amplified damage on Copy. Olnit shows right in the middle, and they're going to immediately jump this Dusa. Terrorize out, doesn't get to cast a thing. That was horrific.
He walked straight out in the middle of the map with no backup and no buyback. That's actually probably just the end of the game in the most possibly anticlimactic way I can imagine.
That's not what he was hoping for. Maybe a symptom of a problem there, but they do end up losing their Medusa, and now they're going to lose the base. No buyback on the Phoenix. Force trying to survive. The BKB is there, but way too much physical damage. Tier 4 towers hit. And Nouns looking to close this one out here, although there is a buyback from Doom now. They pull in, catch, and they're going to kill Supreme. Never mind, they're not backing away. They're going to hit the Ancient. Nouns feeling very good. GG is called. Maybe not the way that we...
I think he's right in his assessment that there are a couple of hurdles here, but if you overcome them, it can be good. My only concern for Spectre in this game is the lane, by the way. I think aside from the laning stage, the hero actually has a lot of potential in a game of this kind. I think he has a couple of heroes that are really nice to play with. When you think of Spectre nowadays, you can't not focus on Shadow Step. You have this relatively low cooldown ult that can make moves, so your carry can have a global presence and be a part of plays. So you want to play with heroes that in turn also want to be activated and get stuff done. So having two cores in the Primal and Pango that can now rely on a Shadow Step is quite interesting. However, Spectre joining and being useful in these moves really comes down to having any semblance of a laning stage. And this is one of the worst laners in all of Dota. You're playing it with a Phoenix, which doesn't inspire a lot of confidence in me either. This is a very weak lane, and it's against Kunkka Willow, which is a very strong one. So best case scenario for MOUZ in this lane is that they don't get crushed. They will lose it. I refuse to believe they can beat Kunkka Willow. If they do, it will be amazing. Then they win the game, I think. If they win their safe lane, they'll win this game. But that is not going to happen. So it's more a matter of, all right, how much can we mitigate our losses here? How much can we get done elsewhere on the map? And that also begs the question, what about on the flip side for Nouns? Like, what about their carry? How rough of a game is Yuma going to have? Last pick Sven. I was wondering, why didn't they just pick Dragon Knight? Isn't he just the better Sven? So I wonder.
I will say that I think there is a element of comfort to this. I remembered when I saw like the name Yuma under Sven and that set, it tickled something in my brain. I looked it up. He is one of his most played carry heroes, a pretty decent win rate, around 59%. And then when you compare that over to the Dragon Knight, only 11 games played, 45% win rate. So I think this is also one of those where it's like a player comfort dynamic. And
fair enough.
He feels like this is what he needs to be able to get there. And a hero that can maybe build into a Silver Edge and do some pretty decent damage to Spectre.
Yeah. I was looking at it and I was just thinking, okay, what does Sven have that Dragon Knight doesn't? And it's mainly Warcry.
Right.
And I don't think that's particularly great this game because the side of... I mean, there's the Pango, I suppose, who has a decent amount of physical damage, but aside from that, everything more or less is like magical or pure on the side of MOUZ, but we'll see how it goes. I'm definitely keeping my eyes on this top lane, and I'm also keeping half an eye on the mid lane, because this ends up being Sniper against Pango, not Sniper against Primal.
Right.
The panel was talking about how this is a good lane for Primal in theory against the Sniper, but they don't put it there. So I think Copy is going to have a really good start in the Sniper Pango matchup.
It seems like he definitely should, and already doing some pretty good harassing, although it does look like Supreme's still getting the last hits where he needs to. The other one that we obviously should be keeping an eye on is going to be Narman down here playing on the Leshrac. Did go for the misanthropy. I don't even know how to pronounce that.
Misanthropy?
Yeah, sure. Let's say that facet, and it does a lot of damage. Basically, it does, I think we were talking about this earlier, the same amount of damage as Diabolic Eve does normally, except it just happens more quickly. So it's like a better harassing tool.
Yeah, and Immortal Faith was talking about this is a good solution to Clockwork, because obviously if Clockwork wants to play offensively into you, he has to yield. You have the better battery assault.
Yeah.
But it is under the condition that the heroes are not next to creeps. So it's a little bit more contextual. For both heroes, that is the case, but generally speaking, Clockwork will try to find those fights maybe a little bit. You know what I mean when I say you can place Clockwork in this lane and fight the Primal in a way where your battery assault's hitting him, but Lesh can't edict only you.
Yeah, Primal's
like
got a fat booty.
Yep, that's a different way of wording it.
That's how it goes. So 2 minutes in, and mid lane entirely even. Spectre so far seeming to do okay in this lane.
Oh, he's doing better than expected.
Yeah,
he's got 8 CS already. That's solid. This lane will get incrementally harder as Kunkka gets level 3. Tidebringer is the type of ability that scales incredibly well. You get lower cooldown, you get more damage, and you get more reliable connections because of the cleave range. So I'm very curious to see how Ulnit is going to itemize, because ultimately this should be the kind of lane where you're constantly harassed so hard that you have to buy a type of regen. Spectre, historically speaking, has been a Vanguard buyer. I don't think that's a thing now, though. I feel like that's way too greedy and too defensive. Get the torrent there. Won't get the CS, though, for Gunnar.
I mean, I think there is going to be something interesting to be said, too, because there was a while where Spectres were building Falcon Blades when everybody was getting stat items. True. That kind of went away as well. We could see a return to that. I think that's what he has queued up here as well.
He's got Earn, I think.
Oh, Earn and Treads. Okay. But a lot of money being floated right now. Probably just going to try and get towards those boots as quick as possible.
I mean, this is without a doubt the best carry in all of Dota to buy Earn on.
Yeah.
Just because you are... the mono region's nice. You're going to be involved in plays, as we talked about with the Shadow Step. And nice torrent. Big damage. Bengen actually has to dive out of that.
That was really nice. I mean, you gotta love the torrent like mind games that go on. It's one of the better things that you can see in
Bengen
Dota.
has to dodge this one or he's dead.
And Gunners! You're inside of his brain.
Okay.
Get out of his brain, man. That's not okay. What the hell?
Very nice. This is one of my favorite spell designs in all of Dota. I think it's... There's so much... It's in a way, it's so simple, but there's so much depth to how you cast this spell and how you fake it and everything. I absolutely love watching this on a high level. Well played by Gunnar. There are 2 back-to-back awesome torrents. It's going to give them the first blood. We'll go to Lelis. And what will he spend it on? Is he going to get a fast earn himself? He has something coming out. No, he'll go for the boots and a second blood grenade.
I mean, and now the lane, like you said, hitting level 3, this has really started to get a little bit out of control. 20 and 12 right now out of Kunkka compared to the 16 and 4. And also going for the high tide facet. It's pretty gnarly. And Fly down bottom, taking a hit. Will he get another one? He's not going to be able to escape. Narman finds that kill too.
I still am positively surprised with Spectre's game, I will say.
Really?
But it is going to get harder. He has the same CS as Sven.
Yeah.
It's honestly not bad here for Ulnit. Now, the downside in this hero-to-hero matchup is when the lanes start getting hard for both heroes, I know who I'm picking to farm jungle faster.
Yes.
It's not Spectre. It's any other carry in the game. And in this game, it's Sven, so he's faster, but it could have been literally anyone more or less. But I mean, so far so good. The fact that it was Bengen dying and not the Spectre and Ulnit's getting the space, his Urn should be coming out momentarily, unless he wants the treads first. We'll see. He's getting some nice CS in the tower now. Playing this very well.
Battle for the 6-minute rune does appear to be going on right now as all supports come to mid. And We'll see where it ends up spawning. Lelis wrapping around by Bengen up there. Down bottom could be a bit of a battle as they're also getting a stack at the same time, but it's going to be Lelis getting the Arcane Rune. And gets the D-Ward. Nicely played.
Assassinate. Some nice harass onto Supreme here from Copy.
Very annoying. X. Torrent. Lands. Hits. Olnit, he's all alone. Olnit needs to TP out, and that one hurts. Meanwhile, the roll back and forth, they find Fly. Gonna get some damage there onto Copy. Does have Assassinate. Would need to pop Stick to use it, though, so it's just going to sit comfortably.
Yeah, so this overall map exchange with this rotation, I will say is a Nouns victory despite them losing a hero. Specifically because Spectre TPing back to base and having to walk to lane is such an insanely big penalty for this hero. It's just, you're going to lose a full wave in tower here before you arrive, more or less. You also lost a little bit more on the way in the meantime. And now Kunkka, this is the true test. Kunkka gets level 5. Now Tidebringer is more than twice as good on level 1. And also, you have a little bit of freedom because it seems like at this point in time, Yuma... Okay, actually, Yuma is going to even rotate. They really want to get Olnit again because he TP died.
They're going to
TP to base.
First, although that rotation in from Force, that stops it. Gunner now backing away. TP! Oh, just out of range, but level 6 means the Kunkka man in some trouble. The rum went already popped.
Possibly... No, never mind. Not take some time.
Okay.
Almost got the career.
Wow. Force making the rotation to get the kill. So
very, very important. With Sven making the move top, if this move was not made by the Primal and they would have lost their Spectre, his game would have been toast.
Yeah.
If he TPs back to base, runs back to lane, and dies again, he would have ended up playing level 5 Spectre against level 6.5 Kunkka, and that lane is just not inhabitable, so... Good move there from Force. He's looking for more.
Supreme roll. Now they try and get involved a little bit with Olnit too. Can they take down Copy? Backs away with the Spectre. Forces out a bit too far. The dagger will come through, but this is going to be a dead Primal. So no real chance to do much here, although underneath the tower, Olnit.
Brambles in a second. He has the stun as well, so this is not going to miss.
They go for the stun first, and Olnit, I think he's just in no man's land at this point. The root is there, and wait a minute now, oh, he ran out of dagger. Oh, that's frustrating.
And now bang it, okay. Gunnar was trying to be cute there with the Torrent into Cleave.
He can't come back now either. Kunkka is 6. Like, unless they come and kill the Kunkka, but that feels tough.
He's gonna need protection, especially when Willow gets 6 as well. Then these two heroes together, you just X-Mark Torrent Boat and use, you just use the Bedlaming Kill, 100 for 0. So, I think this is a very telling moment about, this is a hero that Olnit is very good at, by the way, the Spectre. It's one of his absolute best.
Right.
I think it's very telling how he decides to play now for his read on what Spectre does in this type of game state. He will still return to lane with the backup of the Phoenix. There's too many creeps in the tower right now, so this is like 3 full waves, but how's he going to respond once this lane pushes out for himself? Is he just going to slowly but steadily jungle? Is he going to be really trying to coordinate plays with his teammates and get something aggressive done around the map? He still doesn't have the urn, so it doesn't feel that great.
I mean, he's just sort of getting little creeps here and there, which, I mean, I don't know. He's getting experience at the very least, but there's not much to do at this point. Needs to wait for some type of action out across the rest of the map. More stacks being built. Fly will not get caught by that. Does
on your battery assault on,
but no.
Oh Jesus!
I mean, Narman does a lot of damage.
Yes.
He just got ripped to shreds. It's a 1,000 HP hero.
He died so fast he didn't get stick off. I think it caught him completely off guard how fast he took that damage with the Swashbuckle level 4 plus the Edict and the Pulse Nova. They do take him down. He did recover the rune, or rather, he did get the rune there for his team, so... Alright, Yuma with the God Strength, pushing out bot. And he will retreat now to the jungle. So keep an eye on the net worth now. This is going to be a race between Sven and Spectre, where Spectre can't win the race, but how far behind do you fall?
Right.
Spectre is a very special carry because it will almost never be top of the net worth compared to basically all the meta carries, but it also needs less net worth than other carries to succeed in a lot of games. If the teammates are good enough to play with, you can find shadow step kills that can really help. There's specific items on this hero that almost feel like cheating because you get so much impact per gold.
Right.
When Spectre has like Manta Radiance, you could argue that the hero can be stronger than an enemy carry that has 3,000 more net worth than you do. So now it becomes a matter of how far ahead can Yuma pull. And as you mentioned, obviously Silver Edge is going to be on the menu in this game at some point. Trying to set up their Spectre here with a smoke, but Yuma playing it very cautiously off to the left.
Yeah, they see that creep going,
and
so
that's
they
just
know
going to
he's
cost
here.
them their tower. They'll try for a trade-off buy, but this tower is quite healthy. Let's see if Nouns fancy any sort of defense. I don't think so. It's a 6 Phoenix, it's a 9 Pango, probably just too difficult. So they'll take the trade and keep farming.
Right.
Very similar to game 1. Just this like slowish start. Nouns are getting more out of the map though.
This is more and more stacks being built too by Radiant. They also cleared through them. There is still that like 4 to 5 stack that's over in the Dire Triangle, which again, it's not really clear who it is that wants to try and steal that one. Or
I think it has to be Primal farming it, right?
I mean, yeah, unless you're waiting for
Spectre
Radiance.
can't farm this,
Right.
so... Allnet, by the way, opting by the looks of it to go straight Radiance, bypassing Blade Mail. Sometimes we see Blade Mail bought on Spectre for multiple purposes. Obviously, if you're going into the fight with Shadow Step and you pop your Blade Mail, you do extra damage.
They find him here. Supreme
Nice X mark.
pulled back in. The Torrent is there, saving the boat, but they get him with that battery assault and one more hit from Gunner. So they bring in numbers, making this work. Assassinate onto Bengen. It's not going to be feeling that good.
And this tower is probably going to be fine for the time being, but step by step, Nouns getting more ground. Yeah, so Spectre not getting Blade Mail, it's a farming item on Spectre too.
Yeah.
It's an item that enables you to jungle so much faster because of how much damage the creeps do to themselves, since if you're looking at Own It now, it's pretty pitiful how much you do to them. So you kind of want them to hurt themselves instead. If I had to guess, probably farms one of these camps at about half the speed of a Sven, if not less.
It's pretty bad.
Not worse, so it's just a natural development here that this gap is going to widen. Yeah, so without Blade Mail, wait, hang on.
They're running right at him. If they connect with an X, I think Olnet dies. He's on the far side of the hot tub, and they're going to move in, and, well, now with Dark Willow right there as well, this should be an easy bring down. So we'll try and escape, but the Torrent connection, gone.
Yeah, now the TP rotation. This is even worse than Spectre just dying. Now you TP 2 heroes up here.
Oh, this
if
is
Lelis
really
gets
bad.
out too... Okay, they did find him. That's something. Going the way of Narman. That was a killing spree, so that was a decently valuable kill for the Lesh. Narman, by the way, with that early blink. Very unusual to see a blink rush on a position for any hero, really.
Oh. Yeah, I think it's kind of an interesting choice with Narman here, but does feel like it kind of fits how he wants to play, I guess. If he blinks on top of, like, even Sniper, to be honest, he's probably going to bring him down to about, like, I don't know, 2/3 HP pretty quickly, if not further.
If he's out in the middle of nowhere, Lesh can solo him.
Yeah.
But it's a bit of a specific situation.
True.
No. MOUZ trying to make a move of their own once again. Really, I mean, this gold lead is starting to look problematic. You need to get something done and bring your Spectre into the game with this urn and get him some additional gold through Shadow Step kills that can make up for the farm that you're not finding in the jungle. This is the way Spectre stays on par for the course, is through assists, or ideally last hits on hero kills, but the moves are not successful.
Oh, this is not looking good.
Supreme might get Stormhammer too.
The Cinder, this is not looking so good for them. Things are really falling apart here as the game is starting to get off the rails. MOUZ lose another 2 heroes. Their support's falling, and like you said, just not really able to get Onit into the game.
And the one saving grace they have is they have pretty good farm on their primal, so he's going to get BKB delivered.
Maybe bottom?
Now.
They're going on to Yuma with Force nearby. They're going to try and get Spectre involved with the Shadow Step. A lot of damage onto this carry, and Yuma will go down. Fly, on the other hand, going to be chased by Narman. No more Diabolic Edict, but with all this magic damage, does have Cogs a while away. Tries to get denied, and he will.
Oh!
Well done.
I think Allnet and Lesh walking in together...
Got the slam.
No, he didn't cast Slam, actually. It was just the attacks of the Thunder Hides there. Yep, nice deny from Fly there, wasting a little bit extra of their time and the TP of Spec, but okay, finally for MOUZ, they get Allnet a little bit involved. There was something going on there. They find a big kill onto the Sven, who was level 13 and Spectre was barely level 10. A little bit of ground covered, but need more of those moves their way. Now, with Allnet skipping Blade Mail, this Radiance is potentially a few minutes away, maybe like 4 or 5. Could be even less if they find a big kill on, say, Sniper with a smoke plus Shadow Step where Spectre gets the last hit. And that is obviously a better farming item than the Blade Mail, without a doubt.
Yes.
So that can help accelerate things quite a bit for him.
Yeah, this is, I mean, you're seeing it. Not a ton of damage for either carry, but you're able to do a lot more with the Sven, and Allnet just jumps away up to the top side. We'll throw out a dagger, but there's not really much you can do here.
All right, Gabe, it's time for your daily Dota Plus expectancy test.
Hold that thought.
After this fight is over.
And they're going to drop the Supernova, and that might be enough to keep Allnet alive.
Assassinate. Oh, he's fine.
South-South. Supreme Roland trying to get involved. They do have more damage out from the Phoenix if they want. Cursed Crown connects. Copy's still there. Now they will have another Shadow Step at 15, but the turn on to Norman. You will put the stun. Oh, and now that's way too much damage.
Oh boy, that one's costly, and he's not even going to get assassinated. That's big.
This is interesting now.
All right. Now I don't really want to quiz you anymore. Now it's less interesting. But.
Okay, got it.
All right, so before this fight broke out, Nouns had about a 5,500 gold lead.
Okay.
And the win expectancy from Dota Plus was 53% only for Radiant.
Wow.
Dota Plus loves Spectre. It's Spectre's biggest fan. It always has been. And I think it's just because I don't know exactly what sample, like what data set Dota Plus uses for its predictions, but I'm assuming it just loses a wide variety of pub games. And when Spectre is not behind by enough,
hook shot.
She has a tendency of turning games around. This is a big kill.
The BKB reveal, and now in a punishing situation, Force. His BKB wears out, will only get hit by the Torrent. He's also going Blink Dagger. We're seeing some mass Blink Daggers from MOUZ, and I think if they are free to start the fight like this in any point in time, MOUZ are going to win this game. Take a look at this replay here.
This is crucial.
Oh.
And Yuma cannot be happy with this. This was 100% his choosing. A nice blink dodge on the assassinate projectile there as well. At 3,000 gold lead, I'll be honest with you, it's not enough. This is... Oh, they might even lose another. Yep, easy. This is probably one of the things that Immortal Faith was talking about in the coach interview. He's like, we have good pairings for Lesh.
Yeah.
Pango hits a roll, you go in, you have explosive AoE damage. Primal Beast hits a Pulverize, same story. You just get in there with him and you find those kills. I genuinely feel like Nouns dropped the ball a little bit in the last couple of minutes, and MOUZ just found a couple of really good opportunities, and this gold lead is completely insignificant. I think I'm heavily favoring MOUZ in the current game state if Nouns don't start pulling ahead again. Because a 5k gold lead in 10 minutes is a MOUZ advantage for me.
Yeah.
For sure. Because Spectre is starting to get somewhere now. Radiance is almost completed now for Allnet. This is what they were hoping for. He was saying in the coach interview from Immortal Faith, it's like, if we can get through the laning stage okay, I really think our lineup makes a ton of sense.
And
Sven
these types of movements
exploded.
You just can't really... I mean, it's all gone now. The double Blink Dagger pickup, like how quickly they're jumping on this hero, and then suddenly he's just out of the map. It feels really hard to play against. And now, 20-minute mark, they're going to take the Wisdom and try and steal this Tormentor. I mean, this is everything that you could want if you're a MOUZ fan. If you're a Game 3 fan, because they're well on their way to finishing this one off. They are very low. But it's Radiance completed. 20 minutes just about for the Spectre.
And if we were to bring up the graphs right now for gold XP and win expectancy, it's actually a triple treat from Six Flags.
What?
Right here.
What the fuck? What is that?
Very...
What are you talking about?
Isn't that what it's called? Six Flags?
Yeah, six. Okay.
Yeah, it's a...
What's a triple treat?
There's like 3 roller coasters next to each other.
Oh, okay, I see. I gotcha. Well, we're going to ride that roller coaster right on down. Is there a point where it starts to turn around, though, at all? Like, obviously, you've got all these blink daggers. Does it incumbent upon Nouns to just be, like, getting the first look, or are they going to have to wait for an item timing that they need to try and fight around?
I think Sven's BKB is mandatory. He's completing that in a second, though, so I think it's very telling whether he goes Silver Edge next or Blink. Or maybe not even getting Silver Edge at all. It looks like he's just going to go Daedalus for the more damage, which you could argue is maybe a better choice because it's better against literally every other hero than Spectre in the game.
Yeah.
I think his Blink BKB is probably a good timing. It's also going to give Copy his Pike. It's been a problem for Copy. If he gets jumped by Primal, he just dies, so he has to play very cautious around the map. So yes, there are a couple of key items coming the way of Nouns that could help. But I'm still concerned for them that they missed such a big moment of opportunity that it's going to be tough. And also, we're talking a lot about the cores. Fly and Lelis will take out Narman here.
He was looking for a solo kill pick-off a little bit earlier, but ends up getting punished for that one.
I was going to mention the support gold.
Right.
Lesh and Phoenix scale incredibly well as supports if they get rich enough. And they are also quite far ahead of their counterparts now. Glimmer on Bangin, he'll be fine to get out of here.
I mean, that's what you're talking about right there. That's the support goal difference, is that if you get jumped on, Lelis or Willow, they just might not survive.
He's definitely a little bit behind here, and I'm very curious to see which direction Lesh goes with this. He's been very kill hungry for the last few minutes, but in this game state, if things slow down, Lesh has the luxury of actually farming.
He's going Kaya Yasha.
Yeah, he's going Kaya Yasha on a 4.
Supreme.
Not every day you see that.
Does have the roll-up, so Kunkka pretty hard.
X combo is borderline impossible against Pango when he has that.
Although if you just hit a freehand torrent, Supreme, now they got him caught. That is what you're looking for.
Oh, they're going to get collateral damage on Bangin.
Yeah, nowhere to go here at all.
Yep, that was the way to do it. Gunnar knew he couldn't initiate with X. It had to be that blind torrent into hookshot combo. And they did it perfectly. Very nicely done by Nouns, and that's going to help. These 2 kills that were quite unexpected for MOUZ, plus Tower, plus Roche. We were talking about what items they needed, but that wasn't a matter of items at all. That was just good movement, correct chaining of spells, and a moment of opportunity.
And it is Blink for Yuma.
Give them a little bit of a breather here. Aegis for Copy.
Do you like that choice?
Yes.
Okay.
Sniper cannot feel confident in this game because he's playing against 2 daggers plus Spectre. So giving him the Aegis over the Sven and saying you get to play the fights and do damage, I think is a better choice than putting it on the Sven just for the sake of what if he gets jumped.
Right.
Sven has a BKB and he has a blink of his own, so he should, theoretically speaking, have an easier time finding an attack angle together with his teammates. And Sniper just needs that extra layer of protection. So I 100% agree with this choice. Now, well, interesting game, really.
Yeah.
We're back to, honestly, this looks like a design I made when I was 10 playing Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 on Windows 95. This is the park attendees. They want more benches, though.
Yes.
They want more benches and more toilets, and the burgers are too expensive, but the rides are great. So...
You had such an interesting childhood.
Yeah, I played Heroes and Roller Coaster Tycoon. You learned so much about me today.
At the windmill, right?
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah.
Trolls. 25 minutes in, 10-11. And Tier 1 towers all taken across the map, with the exception of that mid one for Radiant. But that is going to be the Aghanim Scepter completed. So another big window here where we're starting to get the water park action going. BKB.
Yeah, it's a lot more damage with that double ship.
Yeah.
This new Ags, I think, compared to the old Torrent Storm, it's less obvious a lot of the time how much it does, but you just look at the post-game and the post-fight breakdown, you're like, oh,
yeah,
it was actually quite strong. I was not necessarily, I thought it was really fun when I tried it right away, but I wasn't necessarily a believer in a pro level of how much it would do.
Yeah.
But when you see the fights, it wins you over. It just does so much.
It's like less control, more damage is like how it feels in this one. And now, big smoke up into the triangle. Olnet. Oh. This is scary. Can they catch up to... I mean, they know exactly where he is going. The blink forward, find him for the stun.
This is a big one.
And trying to get that kill, they'll get him.
Yeah, he was trying to shadow step. Oh, not happening either. Yeah, good chain stun there onto the Spec. If Spec gets to cast Shadow Step and maybe Reality somewhere else, perhaps he could have got out, but I don't think he had anywhere to... He didn't see anything. So maybe it wasn't even a possibility regardless. Big kill. Side of Nouns.
Yeah, that is the difference, because Copy was hitting that tier 2 tower. If Copy hadn't backed out, maybe there's a way that he gets out at that point, but...
Gunner.
Good luck.
Mine's banging.
Stun is there. Taking out the Watcher, trying to run away, and, well... Oh no! Fly got interrupted. Would have loved to chase him off the map.
It's one of those situations where the moment you throw out that hookshot, you're like, why didn't I just force step first?
Yeah.
Like, you know, just get out of any potential of hitting your teammates and try to find that hook. And hookshotting a Phoenix that's going off the map can actually be pretty easy because you see the original trajectory of the Sunray, and you just need to imagine that he's continuing in a straight line and then target it. So I feel like Fly would hit that almost every time if he isn't blocked.
Couple of enchanted quivers now picked up. And an even game in terms of net worth, but still feeling like could go either way depending upon most likely the next big round of fights in the next like Aegis, I would say. Because it seems like with this one at least, Nouns are not trying to push their tempo too hard with this Aegis. Although, as I say that, they're starting to walk down mid. Force could be in some trouble here. Hook shot in, and now the follow-up stun. They full to zero it.
Yeah. If there's one thing Nouns have in this game, it's burst.
Yeah.
If they connect a hook shot into Torrent and Sven gets to hit 3 times, heroes are gonna die. This is the thing that Sven definitely has over Dragon Knight, is the hardcore, just few hit bursts. This bottom tier 2 tower will be going as well. So Olnet was able to take the Wisdom Rune and get himself level 18 on the Spec, and the Manta is only 500 gold away, so he is getting there.
Right.
But Nouns, it feels like after what was a really good early game, they dropped the ball for 5 minutes and then they picked it back up. And they're still in a good position now. Supreme has the haste. I don't think Lilith can catch here. Does indeed not look like it, so... I think they're stabilizing once more. An unusually relatively quiet game from Copy. I just think it comes from the nature of the game itself with the lineups and the type of hero he's playing.
Yeah.
But he's still finding really good farm. And at the end of the day, that's what you want from your sniper. If the game is calm, just make sure you keep ramping up. He's looking very nicely there on the second net worth position. And
I mean,
the problems he has to overcome become easier and easier with more items.
You look at the CS across the board, and it's just, I mean, the cores of Nouns are very much getting their farm on. You can see the supports sort of picking up the slack a little bit there on the side of MOUZ, which is where you're seeing more of it go their direction, and higher net worths as well. But Supreme will show for a second here on mid. Maybe an opportunity to jump in, but no, we'll blink.
Force with the finished Shiva is going to prompt the smoke here. Can just blink Shiva and find a target.
They scan.
Potentially.
They know Copy is there. They're looking for the big wraparound right now. Can follow these couriers if they want right on over to their targets. They see Clock and Kunkka. Can they get the right opening? Do they know where they're looking? Fly breaks the smoke immediately there. Interrupted. Copy gets that BKB off. This fight is not the way MOUZ wanted it to go. Flying the perfect angle, just gets evaporated by Narman and the rest of them. But now Gunner in the midst of it. They're trying to keep this sniper man alive. The boat's going out, so staying alive as much as possible with the rum. as they do buy back on Fly. So far, 2-for-1 exchange. Supreme jumps in. Copy gets some separation, now free to hit. Forces on top of him, though.
My
Yuma, the rest of them, ripping them to shreds, so they will. Oh, not lose Copy. He gets out. Triple kill for Yuma. Gunnar comes in for the finish. 5 dead. The ultra kill for the big bad Sven.
Sven 3-shot the Spectre with a Daedalus crit, and then he went over and 3-shot the Primal as well with a Daedalus crit. That's the thing about Sven in these late game situations. This hero a lot of the time can struggle in later portions of the game when he starts getting kited and heroes itemize against him. But in this fight, MOUZ kind of just ran into him. One hero at a time, and they didn't account for him whatsoever, it felt like. He just killed the Lesh on his own, then he went on to the next, to the next, to the next, and look at the damage. 8,400. He did more damage than his entire team combined. And that is one hell of a way to break open the base. This enemy, a full-on team wipe. MOUZ are uninterested in spending buybacks, so they will lose a full lane of barracks here. And you would imagine Yuma will get out scot-free as well. The stun missing from Narman.
And Narman now going to get caught, hit by the boat, but he's canceling the TP.
That was a shard stun, Gunnar. There was a second wave.
Yeah, that was not great. Now Gunnar, I mean, he's probably very dead. Yes, with Force coming in, there's no way out of that one.
That's a relatively small price to pay to get the melee Rex.
True enough.
He didn't want them to get a chance to restore that top lane a little bit, so stuck around, but wasn't anticipating the less shard. So you're going to see the replay here. Just keep a lookout. Just look for Sven the entire fight, and look at how little MOUZ are doing to deal with him. So first, Narman goes in here, and off from the side comes Sven in a sec onto this Terrorize. 1, 2, 3 swings. That's no crits, but doesn't need it. And Yuma's just walking. All right, can't hit the egg. That's fine. Now the next 5 seconds of this fight basically settles it. Spectre walks straight in with this dagger, and he goes in, gets caught, and just gets 3-shot here. 1, 2, 3.
Yikes. And then
Supreme gets canceled as well. I mean...
Whoa, 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 they're all dead! I guess that shows what can happen the other way when Lesh is free to hit. They were all under the sun, and you get burned, baby.
Yep.
What the hell?
They just got jumped and didn't get BKB off on Sven, and Kunkka's dead, so there's no pipe and no ghost ship. So they don't have much in the way of defense, and MOUZ are straight back at it. This is a very interesting sequence of events that... Oh, there you go.
Yeah, that's a thing. 80% win rate down to... Well, we'll see how far it goes.
Welcome back to the theme park, everybody.
That's just the way of it, you know? And Lesh is getting pretty huge now. This is going to be a completed Aghanim Scepter coming out to Narman.
Yep. Nihilism, nice against that Sven.
It's level 22, so, I mean, there's some pretty insane talents that come out. The damage that he's going to have.
He could genuinely end up almost carrying this game as for Lesh. Because the sniper as well as the Sven can't hit him during Nihilism. If he gets on top of the right heroes, he can make for a really nice... I mean, this is just...
That you just can't stand near each other like that.
If you have these heroes and you get to land all your spells on a bunched up group of people, you know how it ends. That almost felt like we're just going to pick Shaker Enigma and the enemy team is going to stack and we'll kill all of them. But then, in reality, that doesn't really happen. But when it does... It looks good and it's very easy.
Well, I think also it goes back to what you were talking about earlier from Nouns, right? You get this early laning stage, things look good, everything's set and solid, and then suddenly you let your foot off the gas. You win what should be like the game-winning fight up there on the dire side of the map, and then suddenly you get caught all together. It's like being able to keep that same level of intensity together. It's a little bit of a miss not being able to make it happen.
And this upcoming fight for Nouns, I think, is twice as hard as the one they just took that they won. Because now Spectre has an Aegis, and it makes the world of difference. Because the way you kill the Spectre, which was very clear in the previous fight, well, Sven is going to lay into her until she dies. The problem is, now that she has the Aegis, you're going to spend your entire BKB on Sven just to get the Aegis out. Yeah. And then what do you do on the second life? You get caught by literally anything. A Pango Bash, a Primal Ult, a Lesh Stun... Even getting fire-spirited and halberded by Bengen is going to take you out of the fight. And I don't think anyone else in the Sven is killing Spectre this game. The rest of the heroes don't have the single target damage. Sniper, he's closing in on the Silver Edge. That's going to be a big help, but until he has it, the rest of the lineup of Nouns, single target damage is not their forte whatsoever.
You know, the other thing that actually is going to matter in this is so much of the damage that comes out from Sven happens in an instant, right? And it's in the duration of that stun. What item do you have on Spectre here in your neutral? It's Vindicator's Axe. That's going to be 20 extra armor.
That is very true. Vindicator's Axe is amazing this game. He's going to have about 40 armor when he's stunned by Sven. So...
I don't think it works during Hex, though, right?
I think you're right about that. That's not a stun.
So that might be the answer there if they spot it out and, you know... I mean, you're still going to want to stun the Spectre.
Yeah, that's the thing. Eventually, you're going to have to control her, right?
Yeah.
Force, going to get hexed by Gunner.
The initial start to this fight. Does he use the BKB? No. Stun on the 2 immediately. And now they're caught. The hook shot interrupts it, though. Just barely. They have the rum buff. That's Yuma. BKB walking away from the fight. Never feels good. And they're in further trouble. Gunner trying to walk away. It's not going to happen. That's 3 dead with no buyback. They do bring down Norman. But a huge loss for Nouns as the late game lineup of MOUZ is starting to come online in a big way.
Man, this game has genuinely just been a complete roller coaster, and I want to at this point say that it feels like MOUZ has got it, but there's this voice in the back of my head saying, don't expect the unexpected, rather. Something is going to happen. And we'll see if Nouns can find a way. There's some serious damage here from Copy.
I mean...
All right. That's the Aegis.
Something is gonna happen.
Unexpected. I was not expecting him to die there, first off. And...
Oh no, own it. Not like this. He's in trouble. I mean, Copy is still beating into him, and where's the help? There's nobody. He's just dead for nothing.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Dota fans. I got my hopes up there. That one's on me.
I mean, normally it's a caster curse, but that one you just called.
Yeah, is it really a curse? I don't know.
Supreme.
Spectre dying twice there is very surprising. Especially, I feel like Phoenix was on backup behind, right? So Sven didn't have the BKB activation, so there was Sunray, there was Heaven's Halberd, there was Glimmer Cape available, Pango was in the neighborhood, and still they just got to kill him twice.
It did sort of, you know, like, it's like a bystander effect. Everybody's just watching him die. It's not,
I mean,
not good.
Sometimes it's easier said than done to save a hero, but I can't help but feel like there was a way there to get Spectre out of trouble with everything they had.
Satanic done. Lelis, Invis Rune. They are under that ward. And in 20 seconds, they're going to have Haunt up on Spectre. Ready to go.
Yuma's in. Oh, that was very close to getting stunned there. All right, they'll take the tower and back out. And now it becomes a Roshan game.
Which is, again, 3
long
minutes.
Respawn with 3 minutes, but it does feel like it is going to be the deciding objective of the game. Now, Narman with a kind of cute ward here is going to maybe give... Oh, nice reaction from Fly. Very quick to force out and hook out.
Can't do anything. They still have Haunt ready, though. I mean, this is tough. If you step just a bit too far out of here, at any point, like, because of all the blinks, these fast heroes are on the map, and then, of course, Spectre, if somebody gets caught, they're probably just dead.
Yep. Olnit adds a BKB to his repertoire, by the way, so now he can safely go in and not fear the counterplay too much. He can just Haunt in or Shadow Step in, insta BKB, and be a presence in the fights.
They have a gem on Force, so he'll see this ward when he steps out, knows that he's under it now. Get him with the Hex. Now the Torrent. Follow up with the Tidal Waves. You really want to fight this guy, though. It's pretty big. Decide not to. It's an Arcane down bottom that Narman is looking to pick up. Now, Shadow Step in.
That's a... Okay.
That's a dead copy. And now Gunner also in trouble. Ascetics cap out. They have the boat going. Not that much left in the tank. Lelis in trouble. Lelis going to die. And unfortunately for Gunnar, he too is looking to be heading that way. So they jump, find the sniper, and it's just immediately over.
You've got to, in these late game situations against Spectres now, you've got to have better formation than this. Your heroes need to be... It's awkward because you need to not stack too close together against the Pango and the Primal, but you also still need to be in range for immediate saves. There needs to be an instant Solar Crest, there needs to be an instant Force Staff, Glimmer Cape, something for the sniper. He can't just get caught off alone and just get blown 100-0 by Ulnit +1. But that is exactly what happened there. Now Ulnit is going to get his level 25 talent, so it gets that 5% higher dispersion, which makes a really big difference. It doesn't sound that good, but it really is. Yuma gets 25 on the Sven as well for the 50% God Strength damage. Just a little bit more damage his way, but yeah, I definitely think the Spectre talent is the bigger deal.
They are going back for a Silver Edge here on Yuma. They already have one completed on to the Sniper. And you can see still dropping around, but still in that 50% mark. I think appreciating the burst damage that both of these teams have. It's coming much more down to vision. And to be honest, as the game gets later and later, that's something that Clockwork does excel at. Being able to throw out those flares randomly and find somebody can sometimes be the difference between a won fight and a lost fight.
And not only that, but eventually if MOUZ want to win the game, they have to break the base.
Yes.
And breaking the base against Clock, Willow, Tidal Wave, a fat sniper, and the threat of a Sven jumping you, all 5 heroes have really, really good base defense capabilities. So it is worth keeping in mind. I think MOUZ's way of breaking the base comes from winning a fight outside the base rather than just running at the tower with Aegis. We'll see if they even get that Aegis. Roche will spawn in a minute.
Smoked out.
Nouns are smoked out, looking for a moment of opportunity. If they could find Ulnit alone, he's TPing out. He dodges this play.
They did also get a couple of different ninja gears at this point, and that is a refresher on the Phoenix. Not often that you see it that early. With the Heaven's Halberd to boot,
yeah.
I mean, he's actually going to run out of mana and does not have Arcanes. Is Benkin going to be able to cast, like, anything?
Well, he should be.
Okay, fair enough.
You get full health and mana when you use Supernova, so as long as you can cast your volley once, you can cast it twice.
That's fair.
Now... It feels like... So, we were talking about the support scaling being a real issue in this game for Nouns, comparatively. Narman, as well as Bengen, are about 5,000 ahead of their counterparts. This is going to start mattering more and more.
Lelis, he's found the BKB. This is also a refresher onto Force.
Oh, Yuma didn't BKB!
They find the back. He's gone so quickly, but the damage out. Wait a minute, maybe he has enough. He bursts through Force, takes him down. So no Primal. He bought out for that. Copy is going to die, though. So they lose a couple, several more buybacks. Gunnar trying to stay alive, has the Hex back up again, but they don't have, well, now they have him. Yuma's off to the side, but now they pop a second egg. And the breakfast scramble as Narman, oh, but the Aghanims, he's got to run away. The Nihilism doing good work. Yuma just trying to stay alive here. Still damage out from the Dark Willow as well as Gunnar. Supreme survives through it. They throw the Tidal Wave to get a little bit more separation. Now Ulnit on top of Lelis. They try and back away and will manage to get out of there. But Yuma in this fight, I mean, he just doesn't have quite enough yet. He's trying to bring down Bengen. It's a lot of heal, but it is not enough. Too much kite. And in the end, it's just, it felt like they couldn't connect with the heroes that did damage.
Yeah, we're reaching the state of the game now where Sven generally as a hero runs into trouble, right? His BKB is starting to be really short. He gets caught by a halberd, he can't really fight. And in that initiation, honestly, this could have gone even worse for Nouns because Primal +1 got on top of the Sven instantly before he BKB'd. They didn't manage to perfectly chain stun him, so he did get BKB on the turnaround. As you mentioned, he did kill off the Primal. But he's expending his entire fighting prowess on that one kill, and in the meantime, his team is just bleeding. Because, as we mentioned, all of MOUZ's heroes are strong. Yeah. So you take out the Primal, that's not necessarily enough to win the fight. You have to deal with a very farmed Lesh, a super strong Phoenix with Refresher, and the longer the fights go, the harder it is for the Radiant. They need to find burst kills, they need to get ahead and stay ahead in fights, or they just lose on just raw resources. There's just too much poke from Spec, from Lesh, from Pango. You give them enough time, they will whittle you down.
And
Force, finding copy. Oh,
Invis.
Yeah.
Fly 2.
If Force had a gem there, that could have got really, really scary with a Shadow Step.
I feel like Copy, when he gets jumped on by this Pango, he needs to be able to be a threat at killing the Pango. There's a lot of times I feel like in the past when we've seen either a sniper or a drow or somebody have enough physical damage that you can actually, like, you know, it was considered somewhat of a counter to Pango when he's rolling, that he just dies. And I'm not feeling that same type of threat in this game from the sniper.
No, theoretically Sven can do it with an Abyssal, but he's not getting that item. He needs too many other things here. He wants to buy Refresher first, which I think is 100% the right choice. He needs 2 BKBs.
Yeah.
He understands that getting kited is what's ruining his game at this point. Like, the fights are just too long, but with a Refresher, at least you have the ability to extend your strength by quite a bit. We'll see, though. This is a 15k lead for the Spectre side. Gabe Newell is not as much of a believer, though, as I would have thought. He's still...
I think Gabe thinks that there's always a chance that you win with Spectre, but it's never guaranteed that you win. Force passing right on by there, and I think that this is actually close to the Lesh getting level 25 talent too, which is an insane amount of damage.
Big. Yeah. 20 additional explosions. Yeah, that's a 50% damage increase on Diabolic Edict, which is insanely strong. Okay,
wow.
Yuma. He's just X-marked. They're trying to bait. All right.
They got BKB out.
They got Haunt. Onit's in there. Okay, he's jumping around.
A lot used. A bounce now. Need to interrupt this one. Do they do it? Terrorize out. Yuma so low. Hook shot in. The the turnaround. Sven doing Sven things. Can he bill him up? Yes, he's going to take down Force. But now the egg. That's a lot of magical damage. They hit. They bring him down low, and he's going to kill off that Spectre. Now Cheese used. Yuma hit stun. Control gone. Does have buyback, but can he get away? Olnet backs out Fly very low. There's a buyback used by Sven and does not quite have enough in the tank. Wait, Yuma jumps in, wants to find and kill, but he's just getting torn asunder.
Oh no!
No, he's not going to get out of there. The slowdown. Olnet still chasing. They find him. They're right on top of Yuna. That's a dieback. That is going to be game. GG is called. The unorthodox pick. It works out here.
Man, this is one of those games where I just can't wait to hear what they have to say on the couch, because I was...
Solid match. Of course, the hope of NA on the line, the hope of MOUZ on the line, and it's going to be, oh god, they're running into each other 5-on-5.
Yeah, I don't think MOUZ's intent with this smoke is to fight. I think their intent is to get vision and information and play defensive. You can also tell their hero positions, right? This is not an aggressive positioning. They're kind of just trying to break a smoke and get an idea of what's going on. Bengen will break it and he's out of there. He does not want to get caught, but Lelis, well, no, not happening. So, all right, so a couple of question marks here. We haven't seen much Pugna. And the bit that we have did not look great, mainly from Soxa. I think we saw one game at least that did not go his way. It's Fly playing it this time, and it seems very clear that the logic behind it is to be a personal butler for Copy on the Storm. Just refilling his glass whenever necessary, or a squire, if you will. Pugna does very well at that, but the question is, hang on. Let's see if it's even time for questions yet. Fly is in major trouble.
Oh, God.
He is done.
Quick and easy,
First blood for Narman.
He takes it again. This guy, I noticed him, like, coming in, when he's playing the Lesh and, like, trying to steal CS randomly, too, as, like, Supreme was farming waves on Pango. It's kind of cool. It's my kind of position 4 player.
So to try to wrap up the whole thing, also about the Visage, the panel was talking about Mars as an option to really tie things together. If you look at the side of Nouns, I think they're very dependent on Tusk and Storm setting things up for them and giving Visage the type of fights the hero wants. Because when your 5 is Pugna, this is not an initiation hero whatsoever. It's a follow-through, it's a kind of defensive, protective hero. Whereas a lot of the 5s that we've seen in the meta in this tournament so far, it will a lot of the time be the melee initiator, right? We'll see 5 Tusk, we'll see 5 Clock. these types of heroes. Pugna is very, very different in that regard. As a result, your offlaner is now, or the 4 is going to be Tusk, who's actually, by the way, super dead right now, getting glimpsed back by Bangin. Will leave the kill for Ulnit, so another kill going MOUZ's way. And when you're playing the 4 Tusk, that obviously means, well, you don't get a ranged utility force, such as Snapfire or Dark Willow, that we've seen other teams play. So this is a little bit off meta from Nouns. I personally am a huge fan of Pugna. I love this hero. It's one of my favorite heroes to play. I just don't generally see it do particularly well in Pro Dota, so I want to see Nouns put it to good use here.
I mean, realistically, I think it's what you originally said as Force is stuck up there on the cliff, that they're just doubling down on as much as possible, which is the refilling Storm, giving him a good game, and just allowing Copy to go crazy. That feels like it's the full extent of the purpose of the hero in this game.
And considering that it was a first pick Storm, his matchups in the game are pretty good. Right. You're good against Timber. The Pango matchup's fine. There's very limited catch on the enemy team. You will, however, have to contend with Glimpse as well as Static Storm. And perhaps, I mean, knowing Narman, maybe he's going to buy an Atos on the Snapfire. It's not out of the question.
Yeah.
He is not afraid to itemize some catch if that's what the team needs.
Well, I think the panel touched on this a little bit, but I'm curious your thought on it as well. Considering the results of the first 2 games and how we've seen these teams play, first of all, should note that Ulnit has 6 last hits right now, and Timber also has 6. They're winning the lanes somewhat handedly on Nouns, at least through the first couple of waves. How do you anticipate this one going? Do you have a clear favorite coming into this independent from drafts?
Not really.
Yeah.
And to be honest, it's not really a cop-out. It's just like I said at the end of the previous game, I feel like neither team today is playing to the level that they can. So for me, it's a little bit of a toss-up of who makes the better decisions, who gets off to a better start. And I mean, so far so good for MOUZ in terms of the kills, but as you pointed out, the CS kind of equalizes that lead.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess ultimately, to put it bluntly, when teams aren't playing their best, sometimes the most important thing is ease of execution, right?
Yeah.
If you're just not having your best day, it happens to all of us. You know, your team isn't particularly necessarily clicking. The decisions are a little bit off. Sometimes having a very clear-cut, straightforward way of playing the game as a team can be really helpful. And I feel like I favor Nouns here for that. I think their lineup is maybe a little bit easier to play. As we talked about, you know, Pugna has a very clear path. Play with the Storm, take initiations with him, refill him, keep him going, play some aggression around the Visage, as Bangin is indeed on the receiving end of that aggression.
Copy Narman with the rotation in to get the cookie kill. That is big.
That's a big kill. In the meantime, up top, Lelis as well as Gunnar will find a kill themselves, but now Gunnar is actually completely out of resources with the exception of, well, you know, Lotus will definitely help a bit. And I'm assuming Bangin will maybe bring Ulnit some mana here. No, doesn't seem like it. Oh yeah, it does have 1 mango.
Okay, can pass that one over. But still, some good denies here by Gunnar and can throw out a few more soul assumptions if he feels the inkling coming in his way. But yeah, slowly regenning, getting back to basics there. But yeah, the copy one, because the other part about that was that he also TP'd at the same time to try and get away from Supreme, was not anticipating that movement over. So this XP issue is going to be a problem.
Yeah, and like we talked about in, or rather, I think this happened in a series earlier today. They were talking about Pango versus Storm, that sometimes it's just as simple as who gets 6 first.
Yeah.
And Supreme will easily get the earlier level 6 here, so if there's any rotation, they're exactly doing that right now. Narman wants to try his luck again. If this is successful, if they get 6 on the Pango here and find Copy, that would be a disaster for them, but looks like Copy is well aware of the missing snap and will not be caught off guard. Instead,
big movement down bottom. They bring numbers. There's Narman making the move over, and the cookie gets him away. Now they need to be careful about
actually canceled that TP. I thought Supreme was going to complete this and look for a couple kills, but...
Well, now they know there's no TP.
Yep.
Interesting.
Doesn't look like they're going to take advantage of it just yet, though.
Copy clears a wave. 6-minute mark. It's going to be a rune up top, which is actually claimed by Lelis. So this gives Copy a little bit more cover to get his 6, while Supreme is not going to be able to make anything happen there. I think that trumpet was from Supreme not getting a rune.
Now, worth keeping in mind here, Yuma went for the gate play top, and it failed. So he took the gate twice, which burned a ton of his mana, and now he's down bottom and a full level behind Timber almost. This matchup is not playable for Luna 1v1. When Timber gets level 6, you can't lane anymore. So what's it going to be? Are you going to bring reinforcements down here, or is Yuma going to be forced to jungle level 5, which I think is far from ideal for the Luna? I'm very curious to see what adjustments they make. You can see Force with his skill build 0, 3, and 2, so tons of damage with that Timber chain and the Facet. Only the 4-second cooldown on this ability. You can just relentlessly chase down the Luna with your Arcane Boots, just spam her out. This moment the Chakram comes up.
Not sure whose creep wave that was. I think it was the Storms. But grabbing the waves around and pulling them each direction. This, of course, is, like you said, Wisdom Runes. 3 heroes heading up top, while Copy sits in the mid.
Now Force is level 6. He goes on to Yuma, gets him to half health, and now Yuma will probably just jungle from here on. So the best news for Nouns, though, this Medusa farm is terrible.
Yeah.
And I'm actually not sure how it happened that he's this low on farm. I know they did a good job in the first few waves, but my goodness, Olnet sitting on 17 CS minute 8 on Dusa is very good news for Yuma, who, yeah, now despite being pressured by the Timber, well, if you're having this much better of a game than the Medusa, it probably doesn't matter. Like, he's level 5.5 on the Luna, the Medusa is level 4.5, and well behind on the net worth, so can probably jungle and not feel too bad about it, comparatively speaking.
Copy looking for a rune mid, but it's going to be Supreme bottling the Invis up there on the top side. Copy is going to try and cut the wave, as Olnet's still just level 4.
Yep. They're thinking about it. Rotation from Fly. Yep, they're in.
Moving. Chasing. Narman. Oh, good damage on the Lelis, but will decrep and walk away.
Didn't have the
same
shards
time,
ready.
Copy, is he going to get pulled on back
No
here?
glimpse, but he has no mana.
The roll, the
Eight on the
chase,
stick.
wants to juke it. It's pretty tough, though. Has a zip available, but he can't get it off in time. Copy finally gets it, but eventually they're going to chase him down. Supreme going to fall.
Oh,
Now
Gunner comes in, but glimpsed. Now his birds are mid. This is super awkward.
Not what you
Because
want to
now
see.
one of them is going to die.
Oh, that is not the way they wanted this to go. A great turn of events.
That is
for
so
MOUZ.
much worse than not TPing.
Yes.
You waste your TP, you lose a bird from your ult, you lose mana, and you gain absolutely nothing on Gunner. That's 2 deaths now on Copy, and as we've already established, this is a game where Nouns are heavily invested in him. Like, I want to say they picked Pugna only for this hero.
Yeah.
So if Storm's game isn't good, now all of a sudden your 5 is also losing his purpose in the game. So they really, really need to make sure that Copy gets to get something done here. Bottle refill coming in for Supreme. Resources are back. They will try to jump him. This is very aggressive.
It's good damage, but again, with Bengen nearby, and now also having Force here, Copy
Oh, if he
in
dies here.
trouble, the glimpse.
Oh my god, that is really ungood.
Also known as bad, Bengen gets the
How dare
finish
you.
there. Holy moly, man. That is,
Oh.
yes. Jeez. This is the, oh no, and now stealing it. Force, Bengen, Narman all over on the hard camp, taking all of these stacks that have been built up.
Yeah. This is
as bad as it gets.
This is really bad for Nouns, and obviously really good for MOUZ. This is the exact thing you want in this early game, is to shut down Storm and steal stacks. I feel like you couldn't even have hope for this almost.
Static Storm laid down, and that is a dead toss. They just keep on feeding kills
Gunner.
one by one. If they can get Gunner here too, it's all falling apart for Nouns. All they wanted to do was play Storm Pugna, and they're getting their faces smashed. He's gonna run in now. Yuma shows up as well. Copy had already used Electric Vortex, so a chase now is tough, but they used a lot of resources too by MOUZ. At least they put a stop to the bleeding, but so much space for Medusa, everything going the way of MOUZ. Whew. Take a look at this replay here and this glimpse by Bengen.
This is just completely unnecessary aggression, right? You're playing against the Disruptor. The glimpse threat is always going to be there. And so here's the problem with this jump, right? This is effectively almost the worst thing that can happen. As he's being pulled back, he's burning his entire mana jumping.
Yeah.
If he would have stood still or just walked and got glimpsed, he might have actually had enough mana to jump out afterwards. But instead, he had so little left in the tank that the glimpse ended up just costing him 400 mana and then killing him.
Well, shout out to Bengen for waiting for that animation before he cast that glimpse.
Yuma will be spotted out here by Force. Very awkward situation. He'll meet Lelis, and he'll meet Mora Obsession.
Okay, nicely played.
He's dead. Big kill. Lelis will maybe burn out?
Yes. Bengen does have Static Storm.
Copy.
He's got to get the hell out of here.
Can they see him for glimpse?
Looking. No. Just
I think he was almost animating that on the Disruptor, it looked like.
Yeah.
But important escape there for Copy. Man, the support duo of Nouns is starved. They are suffering in this game. The Snapfire almost has their combined net worth minute 12, and Fly, well, not long for this world. He'll do a little drainy.
Disruptor is such an interesting hero. There's games where it just feels horrific, and there's games like this where it's like, how is this not the best hero in Dota? Like, you glimpse, you find people randomly, you have this amazing teamfight ulti. It's really, really solid.
He's one of the most polarizing supports in the sense that he is extremely... Oh, hang on, Gunner. Yeah, well, the moves just keep on coming. Nice full bore from Narman.
Bird drop, but they got him.
So Disruptor has some very clear strengths and very clear weaknesses, and he's not a particularly good laner. Right. But if you lane with a strong hero or you have an okay matchup, you can kind of overcome that. I think a big part of the reason Olnit's CS was as bad as it was that he was laning with Disruptor. Yeah. Like he couldn't offer very much in the way of assistance to the Medusa. So the laning is a downside, and I feel like Disruptor is also a very bad hero at playing from behind. But my God, is he good when you're ahead. Static Storm doesn't catch them in the field though.
Copy gets that pullback and will finally manage to bring down this Disruptor. It is a rollout from the Pangolier, and now coming in towards mid. Copy looking. Does he decide to go on this
damage into this tower?
They don't have Static Storm. Don't have roll.
Yeah.
He at least feels...
Olnit really wants this tower. Well, he'll get it.
Now, Yuma onto Narman, finds him. The fight separated into two different parts, and this is exactly what Nouns are looking for. As Force, in some trouble, pulls him back in. More than enough to get those 2 kills. Signs of life here from Nouns.
This is very reminiscent of the second game. There's just things happening in the game that I would not expect. Medusa pushing this tower. Snapfire comes in from the side to barely help with 2 shots of Lil Shredder. Compromises her position, gets punished by Nouns immediately. They get a secondary kill on the Timbersaw, who arguably didn't even need to be there. There's just a couple of hiccups here and there for both teams, and it's making for a very even game, but you also maybe got to think ahead a little bit here. Whoever wins this series and moves on, I think leveling up is going to be a requirement for their next series in 2 days. And of course, if they were to go into the bracket, especially Nouns, you heard from Gunner's interview, he doesn't want to have expectations, but the hope for him is getting top 3. To put it bluntly, I think Nouns have not played top 3 in this tournament, clearly. There's definitely some massive improvements to be made. However, when they play their best, if they played at their TI level, I would definitely have them as a favorite to get top 3. Right. They just haven't shown up in that form, and they need to regain it very soon before it's too late.
And again, going back to that coach's interview, it seemed like there was some pretty clear-eyed understanding of some of the reasons why there were those issues. You know, a little bit of burnout, what have you. Also should note that in that one little clip that we saw there where Copy ended up dying to the Roche roar, which is apparently a mechanic, you know, you heard Fly say, all right, don't focus on it, on to the next thing. It feels like there's definitely some amount of just wanting to, you know, keep that focus on the moment and make the best possible move from here on, not let it affect you. We'll see if Gunner now is going to end up running into some issues himself. Lelis trying to get close to help. Gunner buying some time, but eventually they are going to leave him for dead. The Birds?
Yeah, Birds will survive for now. I wonder if Supreme wants to commit. No, he's going to let them go. So this is effectively, in a way, this is Power Hour for MOUZ Sports. They have the pipe on the Timber Saw. The Disruptor has level 4 Glimpse, and your Pango has Diffusal and now Dagger. So if you make some connected moves here with your heroes, I feel like you're significantly stronger than the Nouns side, as long as you can somewhat account for Storm. If you catch him with literally anything, he might just die in a Static Storm. But that's a big if. Copy has an Arcane Rune, and he's on the hunt. We'll see Force. He's a really tough target. He's going to go for the Disruptor.
Static Storm immediately down. And
no!
Heal? Heal? Does he have enough to stay alive? Copy! No, he's going to be brought down. But it might be enough, all of those heals, to let them win the fight after the fact. Ben getting chased. They've already lost 2. Going to be a 3rd.
That was really important that Fly got to drain for as long as he did to make that Storm kill as hard as possible, but a little bit reminiscent of game number 1 when you say where he jumps in, doesn't keep jumping and gets doomed. This time around, jumps in, just stays in and gets Static Storm comboed by the Disruptor that he jumped. This is a play where you jump the Disruptor, you Vortex him, you get a hit in, then you jump across him. You know, you keep staying on your feet to make it hard for him to land his spells. That was just too easy for Bengen, but ultimately they do win the fight with just raw numbers. That felt like this was a Nouns win, specifically because they just had more heroes brought to the table.
Yes.
They will get the Roche as well, and they will get out. Maybe Gunner could get caught, but they're not checking for him. He has 10 seconds on the TP, so he will stay safe as well. So yes, the end result is good for Nouns, but I still feel like that could have been better.
Right.
And that's probably also the taste that Copy is left with in his mouth after that, was that, I mean, yeah, we got a 3-for-1 on a Roche. The end result's good, but sometimes it's important not only to be results-oriented, but was the process correct? You know, did you do what you were supposed to in the play? Was everything going according to script? And fortunately, Fly got a 10-second life drain off, or that could have been terrible. But they salvaged it.
Well, and it does also signal that, like, you know, what else happens when this Medusa does eventually start showing up to fights. They do not have very good single target damage here on the lineup of Nouns.
Lelis is stuck in no man's land.
Yeah, he's just going to be brought down there.
Force.
So I'm not exactly sure what their end game answer is for Olnit. Maybe just try and decrep him forever. I don't know if that's
Pugna is actually a very good hero against Medusa later in the game.
Yeah.
As long as Pugna has... The main item that really solves Medusa for Pugna is Aetherlens. It's so important to have cast range on this hero. And I'm assuming Fly will buy that after the Glimmer Cape. I think it's fine to buy Glimmer first, but Pugna, I would argue, compared to a lot of other 5s, should really get one item for itself. Because your spells are so incredibly high impact, but they're also very limited in cast range. So arguably, Aetherlens is actually a supporting item. Fly's dead. He got glimpsed.
Narman 2.
1 for 1.
Just trying to get some sneaky little damage there on the Pugna.
Yeah, he was blasting the tower a couple times and forced out a rotation. Not the biggest of deals for either team to lose those supports. Fly completing the Glimmer. Nothing in his quick buy just yet. I'm curious to see it, because, I mean, there's a couple of options, right? You can buy the Aetherlens, you could buy Force Staff. Solar Crest is always going to be a good item when you're playing a defensive support, because you're naturally going to position your hero in a way that is protecting cores. So it's a feel-good item for sure for the Pugna.
Right.
Also, you are a very frail hero. Pugna lost an amazing talent it used to have on level 10. It's been moved to level 15. You used to have a, I believe it was 225 HP talent on level 10, or 200. Now it's 350 on 15, which is obviously amazing when you get there. But when you play support Pugna, the distance from 10 to 15 is so long. Yeah. It takes very, very long to find that level. It's awesome when you get there, but yeah, gonna take some time for Fly.
There is going to be an interesting little window that comes out here soon from Nouns too. Yuma almost completed BKB, and you can see that Copy also has it queued up. Just about enough gold to finish that one off pretty soon here. So this timing feels like it's going to be something where you need to get a lot done.
Yeah.
I think there was also a Blink Dagger, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Tusk got Dagger, Yuma got BKB. These are big items.
Yeah.
Coming out, or well, he will get BKB after they take this Torment. So let's see who gets the Shard. I think ideally for Nouns, it's not Pugna.
Great.
Well, you're welcome. Because I don't see many fights where Fly wants to use his life drain on the ward.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be using his life drain on the Pugna, or excuse me, on the Luna or on the Storm, more or less exclusively, to just keep them in fighting shape. So, I mean, the cast range is nice on the ward. That is definitely helpful. And now he is queuing up the Aether Lens. I love to see it. I feel like that is the way to go here.
They're going to see a
Bangin
courier.
will break the smoke. He is cooked.
Yeah, that is an instant one. And now, free lane, free game. Copy running in Narman. They pop the BKB Ray to chase for more. Force, Glimmered. They know exactly where he is, though.
He still hasn't piped. Man, that was really late on the pipe.
Yeah. Narman
probably would have died anyway, though.
Lelis just saving that punch for this Snapfire, and, well, they will eventually be able to run him down. So 3 for nothing.
Yep, that's a very good sequence. MOUZ, they had a good start, and they had the Disruptor and the Glimpse, but a couple of failed moves, and things are definitely slowing down on their end. And obviously, that's also a bit of a Medusa thing.
Yeah.
You know, this hero pairing might not be the most natural one, the Disruptor Medusa, because they kind of play two arguably different pacings in the game. Like, if Disruptor is far ahead and you're playing with an active carry like Weaver, suddenly you're terrorizing the map together and you're looking for kills. But Ulnet is largely going to just be playing the jungle and occasionally Manta-style push-out lanes. And that means there's less of a purpose for Bangin. Who do you really play with? You kind of have to play with Pango. Speaking of, going to get jumped by Copy.
Gorgon's grasp, the good damage
dead.
Out. He just dies. Just like that. And now Yuma, Gunnar, they could chase Ulnet a little bit more, but a bit too scary. I mean, that is a really bizarre death.
Yep.
I mean,
they've had a couple of them back-to-back now, MOUZ, just not really reading the map correctly, not playing in the perhaps in the correct pairings.
Finding yet again, Walrus Punch all
What's
in.
What's going on?
Where's the help? Why are you there?
Yeah.
I mean, they're gonna lose a lot now. Cinderin, this is a tier 3 tower.
What the hell? Okay. Well, that happened.
Yeah, it did.
Resummon on the birds. They don't even get that.
Wow.
It's just sloppy, right? There's just no way about it. It's just sloppy. And if MOUZ don't pull it together very soon and play their lineup together and combine their heroes and stop bleeding individually here and there, this could very quickly end in Nouns' favor. This advantage is starting to be really meaningful. And mind you, MOUZ had a really good start to this game with the exception of Medusa.
Yeah.
It felt like they might just be running away with the mid-game after they killed the Storm 4 times. But since then, it's just been more or less all Nouns making successful moves, and they've been really valuable.
And the other thing that I'm thinking about, too, is as we're getting closer to Roche, I think about that fight that they had where they found Bangin first on the Luna. These fights look so much better when Storm does not have to be the first one into the fight. And if Luna has Aegis, that gives Copy a free way to just feel unhampered in these engagements as well. Could be a really nice way for that stuff to work. Also, Lelis is working on a BKB, so that's the static Storm answer, too.
I mean, they're just getting so much, right? It's just all these extra kills, all this extra map that they claim essentially for free. Now, finally, MOUZ are going to make a bit of an aggressive move of their own to take the bot tier 2. With Medusa having Manta Butter, it feels like it kind of is go time to... Okay, there's the go time, so good. But the base is on fire. So this smoke play is extremely obvious, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Maybe missing the mark a little bit here. Copy will just start hitting the ranged barracks. He has a shield rune bottled up.
I mean, yeah, the MOUZ, they are running blind. They get to their tier 2 tower. Copy is showing. They have a ward down right here, so they'll see him in just a moment. Zips away. Now Ulnet, they zip further away. Tries to run in. Thunderbolt, good damage. Force really low, isolated, and going to be cookied out. Okay, Glimmer Cape alive. This is almost done.
Oh
and
my God,
Supreme just drops a good static storm, but guess what? There's BKBs, they're already there. Copy is out of mana, dying to the Medusa, does eventually fall down, but that's also going to be Medusa very quickly killed as well. This all started with Force getting brought down low, but he does survive in the end. What a strange series of events as they get ready on Nouns to go high ground.
The thing is, this is a really tricky approach for MOUZ because they don't have good info. So they timber chain in to try to get some sort of vision, and effectively they just YOLO Pango ult and blink in.
Yeah.
But Nouns had good enough formation that he wasn't able to find a good chain stun. They kite him out. They keep heroes alive with their defensive abilities. Snowball with Decrep with Glimmer. And once that Pango ult ran out, he instantly died. He just got blown apart by Conda and the Storm, and a little bit of Visage just killed him off instantly. And the fight was just over. It was just way too easy for Nouns. And perhaps a little bit of a problem strategically here for MOUZ is this Disruptor plus Snapfire support duo, now that BKBs and defensive items are out, they're struggling to land stuns that they can reliably play onto with their Pango. So have to maybe be a little bit more clever about the way they approach this.
And
it's not easy.
There's no need to pop BKB until the Static Storm comes out, pretty much.
No, exactly. I mean, he was just waiting.
Yeah.
Copy waited very long. Static Storm comes out, then he BKBs and takes the fight. And yep, absolutely. Nouns 12k lead. Looking to potentially get Roche. The respawn is in a minute. They don't know this, of course. They're just hanging out at the gate. It's a little bit of a picnic here. It is a beautiful vista. I don't know if you remember the real-life version of this, where people were... where there was this gate that you could look into, and people from the other side of the world were showing you all sorts of body parts. That is not how the Twin Gate works, unfortunately. I think that could be an interesting cosmetic for the game to allow people to live upload pictures
of themselves
to be shown in the Twin Gate.
I can't see anything that would go wrong with that.
No. I think that'll be the new effigies.
Good. Very good. Well, Roche is going to be up very soon now, as we'll have ideas for global cosmetics coming out very soon. Smoke on smoke. Yuma, first one in. Big hit. Copy low, but already dead. Disruptor. No Static Storm in this battle, except they did already pop BKBs, and now it's a buyback. Gunner is kind of in an awkward spot. Copy can't stay in this fight. Fly is trying to back away. Yuma stepping forward, Static Storm on nothing. On literally nothing. As Olnit now in trouble, and there is nothing to throw out anymore because they used all their spells. Bangin dead. They buy back on Medusa, but MOUZ, nowhere left to go. They're running right down mid, trying to close this game out. Want to send us home a little bit early here. Tier 4 towers already dropping, and they don't have anything to deal with this.
Well, they have a glyph.
Jump in, punch, control. If Olnit dies here, it's all over. That is going to be dead. 90 seconds, no buyback. GG is called. Nouns take full advantage, and when it counts, they get what they need.